What's the difference then? Because you just talked about being a professional, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference between a professional and an amateur?
Ooh, that's a good
I
question.
like it.
Um,
I got a little smirk back there from Braden. So I'd like to see what his is too.
Professional and an amateur.
What's the difference, do you think, between, and this is, there's no right or wrong answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think I've got a one that would align with you, and I could
Okay.
be wrong here.
Well, in my opinion, a professional is somebody that needs to have experience, right? They need to have experience,
Mm-hmm.
and they need to be educated in what they're coaching, teaching, whatever.
Without a doubt.
My focus for the last 10 years or 8 years at this point has been sales. I was a really good coach when that's all I was doing. I was a professional strength conditioning coach.
Mm-hmm.
Now I coach at our gym, but there's a reason I have a head coach in place. At some point, I would like to hone that skill in more again. Once I get the rest of the businesses in a place where I can focus, put time into that. Caitlin is a professional coach. Logan, they're professional coaches. I am definitely more of an amateur coach right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll wholeheartedly admit that. That's why I have the professionals here. I
Yeah.
love coaching, and there's certain things I'm good at coaching. There's certain things I'm not good at coaching. But I can still offer value there as an amateur, but I'm not gonna claim to be the one with all the answers. I do have my opinions on things,
Mm-hmm.
and I do have answers for a lot when it comes to that stuff. But again, that's why I have professional coaches that coach here. Every coach at Legacy Athletics is a career coach, professional coach. We don't have a bunch of part-time coaches that float in and out, and I wanted that for consistency. I wanted everybody to be on the same page. We have a certain methodology we coach, and we want to stick to it. So, anyways, that I would say experience, education doesn't necessarily have to be a degree,
Correct. Absolutely.
but experience, education, wisdom, and I think that comes from humility. I don't know what else I would say to that. Those are probably the big three.
That's a great answer, man.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Absolutely. Definition of
What was your answer to that?
So I went a little bit
Good
different because I thought about it, right? And my answer has changed, right? If you would have asked me right after I got out of college,
Mm-hmm.
what is a professional? Somebody that is an expert in their field of study.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that gets paid for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think when you look at it, an amateur boxer, an amateur NBA player compared to a professional, and I'll sum it up in this one word. The difference between a professional and an amateur is a standard. A standard. I took a different look at it. And I looked at it from my career. I looked at it from kind of what we've talked about in your field, but also military, other stuff. What separates a Navy SEAL from, no joking, a seaman? A standard that the Navy SEALs hold.
I'm sorry,
right?
It's hard not to laugh at a little
No,
bit.
right, exactly. That's how I sat here a bit.
Seamen.
Seaman, right? That's what they call somebody in the Navy that doesn't have a specialty, a seaman.
Yeah.
I bit my tongue before I said it. But like I said, I took an unconventional approach to it, right? Because we have the expertise, the payment. But what is the difference, right?
Right.
And I've also heard other people, SEALs, other stuff talk about it, and they've alluded to it, is the standard, right?
The higher standard.
Yeah, it's a higher you're called, you live to, and you perform at a set standard, right? If you drop below that, you're not
Right.
accepted in that, right? Like if you look at it in sports, NFL, NBA, whatever. If you don't meet a certain standard, you're not in that, right? That's why I'm not an NBA player. That's why I'm not in the NFL, right? We both played sports. We come from an athletic background.
Yeah.
Rich Froning, we'll use a CrossFitter. we'll go into the debate of the who's better, him or Frazier, right? Two different athletes, right? It's like Michael and LeBron.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Michael's better, but that's for another day. No. I just had to state my claim there. Right.
Yeah.
Two totally different athletes, right? But the standard, right? They meet a standard and they don't falter from it. So
Michael
I'm
is
not
better, by the way.
Thank you.
No, back that.
Yeah, exactly. But so I won't talk too much more because I also want to leave more for other episodes.
That's a good question. The standard. There's also experience that goes into it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason I don't think that I can be. I just was thinking of an example here. Let me use a good example. Professional weightlifting coach John North. We just interviewed him. He has experience.
Mm-hmm.
He set records. The dude competed and still competes. That's a professional.
Right.
But he's been there. He's done it. He's educated. He has a methodology, and that's a professional. So I think that's what a professional is somebody who's been there. They've done it. Maybe not been done it at the top level, at an elite level, because we both know that there are a ton of athletes out there who make better athletes than coaches. And
Absolutely.
Vice versa. So, I don't think that you have to necessarily be the number one in your field to be a good coach. I know a lot of people who've been better coaches than athletes, but I do think you've got to been in the shit.
Yeah, and I think it leads right into it is somebody that's done it, knows what that standard should be in order to be a professional or in order to get to that professional status.
Right.
So like you said, and that's why I said your answer is exactly what I would have given. And it still is part of my full answer. But a professional is somebody that sets that standard, right? They've been there, they've done that, they've been in the shit per se, like you said. And now they know what it takes in order to be there.
Yeah. That's why sales coaches crack me up. I had people reach out to me to coach me on sales. And I'm like, wait, you're fresh out of college. What's your experience? Have you worked in sales? Oh, no, I do this. How are you going to coach me on sales if you've never been in sales? Now, to be fair, usually a lot of those sales coaches, they have to sell themselves as a coach. But I just have a hard time with that. That's this whole this whole thing that's going on nowadays of everybody can create a career on social media.
Yeah.
Just by they look better with their shirt off or whatever the ploy may be. I think you got to look deeper than that.
Absolutely. You have to do your research, see, like you said, what they've been through, what their expertise is, if they've been there, done that.
And do their values align with you, too?
Yeah.
There's a lot of big names out there that are in the podcast world, that are in the business world. And I may look at them and go, man, that dude's got a lot. He's got a lot of earthly pleasure, a lot of earthly things. What's his marriage like?
Yeah.
What's his relationship like with his kids? Because that's more important to me than how much money I make. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a hustler, and I'm going to keep building my businesses till the day I die because I would like to leave a nice legacy for my family, not just a business, but financially. I'd love to have the freedom. I don't live high on the hog, man. Give me a nice truck, guns to have fun with, and for me, other than that, I just want to travel. I want to have experiences. I want to go hunting. I want to go fishing. I want to, go to these beautiful places on this earth that God's put here for us to enjoy, and that's what I want to do. So once I have that, anything else is just gravy, And even that is just you got to learn to be content, not complacent.
Dang, that is what we literally talked about when we were sitting up here by ourselves. And people get those things flipped, man. They think being content is complacent, and they're two totally different things. You're content with what you have, but you're not complacent. You're always wanting to do more, be better, but you're happy with
Yeah.
what you have right
You always want to grow. Because
Yeah.
and if you're not growing, you're dying.